7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
The Savachi syndrome, I'm telling you, I'm like, well, holy shit, that was crazy. Wait for it. Thick and slick. Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Moto Aftermath Show presented by TLR Coatings and Durango Guitar Works. As you guys can see, I am not in studio today. I am actually on vacation in Florida. So this show, like I said before, will be a little bit different. This is going to be more of a Weege-esque show here. We are going to walk around the resort I'm staying at. I'm going to talk to you about the race. I'm going to talk to you about my fantasy results here a little bit. And just kind of give you guys a brief show, but nothing crazy. So anyway, we are, once again, like I said, sponsored by TLR Coatings and Durango Guitar Works. We're wrapping up round 9, which came to us from Atlanta. Atlanta, infamous for all sorts of great racing, and last night did not disappoint at all. Track was absolutely great. There was a split section in it that was fantastic. There was a sand section in it that was fantastic. There was crashes. There was great side-by-side racing and great passes. It was absolutely awesome to watch. Make sure to follow us on all the major social media networks to check out all of our latest. We are going to the next few races, so we will have video content, pictures, all sorts of things like that. Also, a big announcement we have. We are partnering with Kevin Moran's to sponsor him here for most of the rest of the season here. We basically did a deal to sponsor him officially for the Detroit round, and then we are going to continue our sponsorship unless he gets another main sponsor for the rest of the East Coast rounds. So that is big news. Really excited about that. Excited to help out the privateers. So it's just a great time. Like I said, we were working on it. We've been working on it. We put something together with him, so that there will be lots of news drops coming here in the next week as far as that goes. So that is awesome. Like I said, make sure to follow us on all major social media to check that out. Now let's talk fantasy here for round 9. Sorry, I'm crossing the street here, everybody. Don't want to get hit by a car. Anyway, so let's talk fantasy for round 9. So first off, PulpMX Fantasy, which if you're not playing, you should. Still plenty of time here. We still have about half the season to go to make up points if you are lucky and or good. And we are giving away prizes to the top 3 people on our PulpMX Fantasy. It is the Moto Aftermath Show League there. In that, so go check us out, go find it. Now, I had a pretty good day. I was in the top 1,000 all day. I ended up scoring a solid 275 points. Let me go ahead here. Let me pull up my fantasy here. Sorry, I'm not quite as prepared as I normally am. The great thing is that in scoring that 275 points here on this round, I absolutely crushed Cole, so I am making up tons and tons of points. So let's see here. Alright, so in the 250s this week, I had Hunter Sales, who scored me a solid 46 points. I had Garrett Marchbanks, who scored me a solid 21. Enzo Lopes maxed out for me with 52. And I had Cedric Subros, one of the new French kids. He scored me 36 points, so that was a very, very, very solid day for me in 250s. I think I was ranked in like the top 200. I think I was like 155 on that when I was all said and done with that. Now, as far as 450s win, I had Malcolm Stewart. He was my all-star. He scored me a full 26 points. I had Aaron Plessinger, who had a solid night, getting me 36. Kyle Chisholm scored me a solid 30. And Dean Wilson got me a solid 28 points. So like I said, for a total of 275, which, again, was just crushing Cole and Justin. So pretty pumped on that. As far as the league goes, I've moved up to 14th overall in the league, which is pretty good because I was as low as like 30 at one point. Now, as far as RM Fantasy went, I scored, I believe, 57 points on that. I don't remember who I had exactly in that, and to be really honest, I'm not going to look it up because that is more of just a luck of the draw as far as fantasy goes. So let's jump in here now to talking about 250s, and the night was not disappointing at all. Like I said, the track was very, very racy. Had a split section that was fantastic, had a sand section that was fantastic, and it did not disappoint at all. So as far as the 250s go, we come in with Shane McElrath and Chase Sexton both sharing the red plate, and one would come out on top, obviously, because that's how racing works. Shane had a bit of a so-so night. It wasn't bad, it wasn't horrible, he just never could get going. Sexton, on the other hand, had a fantastic night, actually passing RJ Hampshire in both his heat race and the main event to take the win, and the pass on him for the main event, that was kind of a statement pass. He definitely went up, he made contact, it wasn't horrible. RJ kind of saw it coming, RJ kind of knew what was going on with it, and you could see if you watch the slow-mo, RJ pretty much lean into him, which I think kept him from A, going off the track, and B, hitting the deck. So that was good on his part. We'll have to keep an eye on how this little rivalry continues to grow, because let's face it, they are definitely going back and forth. Even in the heat race where Sexton passed RJ, he didn't make contact with him, but there was a lot of attitude on whipping that rear wheel around at him. So that's going to be interesting to follow and watch. Like I said, Shane had a so-so night. I believe he finished third. Oh boy, now I look bad because I don't have my results. I don't have anything with me here. I don't have a computer to print or anything like that. So let's go here. Let's look at results. Atlanta rider results for 250s. Shane finished, yes, Shane finished third. So like I said, a decent night for him, but not great. And again, gives up the points lead. As I've said it before, and I will say it again here, Sexton just looks different this year. He just looks different. There is no doubt about it. He has taken a step in his career. Last year, solid looking dude. In fact, the last 2 years, solid looking dude. Looks like he could ride, but still very, we'll call it kiddish, and made mistakes, etc., etc. This year, there is none of that. He is here to play, he is here to win. He even said this week in an interview I saw that he just wants to let his riding do the talking. Well, his riding is definitely doing the talking, and I know me and Justin have been arguing about this. We've been arguing about how Justin thinks he's not different, he's still the same old Chase Sexton, and I'm here to tell you he's not. I'm very interested to see an East-West shootout. I want to see what he does in that. I want to see how he stacks up against Frenchie, because at first I thought for sure Frenchie was the fastest guy, and where I still think he is the fastest guy, man, I'm here to tell you that if he doesn't get a start on Sexton, I think he's going to have his hands absolutely full with him. And I mean absolutely full. Because Sexton gets good starts. That is one thing. These Geico bikes, they have definitely stepped their game up with those. I know last year there was a lot of talk about how everyone was upset over the power and sort of lack of power on the Geico bikes. And this year, I don't think that's an issue. Shimoda, Sexton, Martin, all had great starts. They've had great starts. Even Jet and Craig on the West have had great starts. So the power on those bikes are definitely, I feel, on par now with the Pro Circuit and the Star Yamaha boys. And I don't think there's any issues there. And like I continue to say, I just feel like Sexton is a different person. He looks like he is supposed to be there. He looks like he wants to be there. And he rides. There's almost a steadiness to his riding now that allows him to stay at the front and do what he's been doing, which is win 2 races now. So it's interesting to see. I can't wait to see it going forward. Like I said, we have him and Shane going at it because obviously Shane is the other man in the title fight. And then we have him and RJ going at it because, well, let's face it, apparently him and RJ have beef. So anyway, as far as other 250s go, Jordan Smith, well, from what I heard, according to Ralph here, got called to the principal's office, had to go out to California and do some training out there under the watchful eye of Mitch Payton. So that's kind of interesting. That's really saying that Mitch is very, very unhappy with Jordan Smith's results, and that really, to be completely honest, doesn't surprise me. Jordan Smith has not looked good all year. The panic button for me was pushed for him after the first round. You know, new team, new bike. You usually look better if things are going to be better. He definitely has not looked better. Same old Jordan Smith. RJ Hampshire, a decent night last night. Again, looked good, looked racy, led in both his heat and his main, and it was interesting to watch. Like I said, him and Sexton go at it, but definitely hasn't taken that step that a lot of us thought he might with having the Alden Baker program and being on that Husky. To me, he still, I feel like he's taken somewhat of a step. He's got some confidence going now because of being on that team, having that bike. But there still isn't that next step. Like, it's not a Zach Osborne step when Zach went to that team and did that. There isn't any of that, in my opinion. So it'll be interesting to see as we go forward. Is he going to actually win one of these? He's now led them all at some point or another. He, like I said, looks better, but in my opinion, not championship caliber like Sexton looks now. Again, Shane, so-so night. Marchbanks, he had an okay night. Again, not great, not horrible. And I think he's doing what he needs to do. He's not the one that's expected to go out and win races at this point. He is kind of the secondary guy on the coast. So that's great for him. Shimoda, great ride last night for the rookie. Puts it in for a top 5. That was fantastic. He was pumped. Good to see. One of the surprises of the night, and I'm sad because he kind of had an issue early in the race of the main, Pierce Brown came in last night, and to be completely honest, his ride in the heat to me was very, very impressive. Like I said, I'm on vacation, so I didn't really get to watch a lot of practice yesterday, but watching the race, his heat race, was very impressive. He definitely has the speed and the skills to pay the bills. As far as I'm concerned, he was running second in that heat for a long, long time, and so in my mind, that's interesting because that just throws another guy that can get a start and stay up there for at least a little while and kind of stir the pot, we'll call it. Let's see, who else? Oh, Jeremy Martin, rough night. Big get off there in the main, bent the bike all up. So a rough night for Martin. He's been somewhat underwhelming to me compared to how he came in and he was back and he had this fire that everyone was talking about lit under his ass after this injury because he feels like he's been gypped. So I know, yes, he's been off for 2 years, etc., but the way the hype and the talk was, you would have thought he was going to come out and just dominate and win race after race after race, which I did not feel like he was going to, in my own personal opinion. It's just a Supercross thing for J-Mart. Now, he may well go out and dominate this outdoor title, but as far as the indoor title goes, I don't see it happening. And I think that's pretty much all for 250s. So we move forward to Daytona next week. So that will be interesting to see how that goes. Daytona, always a little different race. If you haven't seen the track map yet, go check it out because they are doing some throwbacks because it is the 50th anniversary of the race. So that's kind of cool. They're doing some simulated over-the-wall stuff. There are some grass turns on the track map, and I'm not sure if they're going to actually be grass turns or not. That would be really cool, in my opinion, to have turns that were just the infield grass, and they just have to work them in as they go throughout the night. So we'll have to wait and see on that. Moving into 450s here. Again, another fantastic night and another change up, and this title is just absolutely awesome. The first thing we'll start with is Cooper Webb. No one was sure, is Webb coming back this week? Is he not, after that gigantic get off over the Dragon's back last week? He did. He was there. He toughed it out. Lots of therapy, using some sort of high strength magnetic device to cut down on inflammation. And so he was there and just having a super solid night. He put it up there. Was he third? Was he on the box? Oh boy, now I can't remember, and I'm gonna look bad on this one too. Hold on, let me look it up, guys. Yep, Cooper Webb, third overall. And it's amazing to me how when we think he's down and out, he puts in these finishes, and then he has some nights where he's off this year. But again, you look at the first race, A1, he was sicker than a dog. We didn't even know if he was really gonna race, and boom, puts it on the box. Last night, he's got all these bruising and this bad going on the backside from where he wrecked onto the concrete the week before, and boom, puts it on the box. So that was great. The man of the night, Ken Roczen. Great night, whole shots, leads, wins his heat race, whole shot, leads, and just takes off in the main event. And again, pulls the points lead back. Him and Eli are now tied. We will have 2 red plates at Daytona next week. Will be super interesting to see how this plays out. But man, look at this. Here we are halfway through the season, 9 rounds in, and they are tied for the points lead. Barcia leapfrogs Webb for third, and him and Webb are both now like within a race. So they're not completely out of it yet. And like I said, at the top, you still have Ken and Eli going for it. Tomac, rough night last night for him as far as his main event goes. Heat race went very easy for him, but the main event, a little rough for him. He got a completely crap start, was just buried, was trying to work his way through the pack, and comes into a corner, and Baggett cut down on him a little harder than what I think he was anticipating. They come together, they both go down. Baggett, very unhappy. I have not heard any post-race stuff. I haven't listened to any interviews or seen anything yet. But from what you could just see on TV, which was Baggett shoving Tomac after that, I am sure that Baggett was not pleased with Eli at all. And then you had, as Eli was continuing to work his way through the pack, him and Barcia got, we'll call it close again, and there were words exchanged between them after. So I think that is a explosion waiting to brew here, because you have Tomac, who's in a title chase, and you have Barcia, who feels like he's in the title chase, because technically he is. He's only, like I said, I think about 23 points out, and he will do a lot to make stuff happen in a race. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes on, or how that goes as the season progresses here in the second half, because this is now twice within 3 weeks that they have had close encounters and had words after the main event. Barcia said he wasn't too stoked on it, but it kind of is what it is. I haven't heard anything from Tomac yet. Like I said, I haven't watched any post-race stuff at this point. So interesting to see going forward. Now, one thing we are doing is we are going to Daytona here, which is pretty much Tomac's house. I think he's won it like 3 out of the last 4 years or something ridiculous like that. So it will be very interesting to see how this goes. I mean, I for one am just calling Tomac to... It's a bus. I for one am calling Tomac for the win on this race. I have a hard time betting against him, as much as I think he's inconsistent. There's something about Daytona that is just Tomac's house. So I think he's going to win. So I do believe he will take the singular red plate back going into Indianapolis. I feel like Ken will be right there. Ken is very consistent, and unless he gets a crap start, which I don't see that happening, he will be right there at the end. Plus, Ken is one of the most in-shape guys, and this track is going to really lend itself to in-shape guys, especially, like I said, if they use those grass corners that will just randomly break down however it wants to as they ride. so that will be interesting to see. As far as other things in the 450 class, Jason Anderson had a kind of weird night. He basically bounced it off the wall of the tunnel, took his teammate out. It was a big old mess. Trying to think of anything else. Oh wait, we have actually lots to talk about. So you have Party Marty showed up to party yesterday. Party Marty ran second until like the last lap of the race. It was absolutely fantastic. I thought Party Marty for sure was going to put it on the box. I thought he was going to get his first career 450 podium. We would get to hear about it all week on Pulp MX. However, it was not meant to be. Like I said, Webb came back, Barsha came back on him, and Tomac came back up there. So not meant to be. Justin Hill, same way, ran third for a huge majority of that race, and I thought for sure we were going to see Justin Hill on the box too, strictly because of the problems Tomac was having. However, once again, like I said, just not meant to be. But a huge shout out to those two for running up there. I'm here to tell you, Martin Davalos does have the speed to run up front, as does Justin Hill, if they can put a start in, and B, Marty has to stay on two wheels. He has somewhat of an issue staying on two wheels. But if he does, look out, because he is more than capable and has more than enough speed to actually put it on the box. So all in all, like I said, Atlanta, great race, great track. The amount of barn burners we've had this year, as Weege would say, has been absolutely ridiculous and unprecedented. We still have pretty much no idea who's winning a title in 2 out of the 3. I think the 250 West is pretty settled. I think minus a catastrophic failure, Frenchie is going to win that race, or win that title. But we have, like I said, Sexton and Shane both having, you know, within a couple points of each other. We have a tie for the points lead in the 450 class, which is fantastic. It's just been a great year. We just haven't seen it, and this 450 class is just so stacked that it's absolutely ridiculous, because you have pretty much 15 guys that could all win on any given night. So that's pretty much all I have for this week. Like I said, I haven't watched a lot of post-race stuff, so I don't have a lot of insights yet. I'm on vacation, so my time is limited on as far as doing that. It's not like a normal week where I'm in the shop by myself, being able to watch and listen to everything. So thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. I think Cole's going to be on next week's show, because Cole is going to Daytona also. So we're going to try to link up here, and after the race, hopefully at the track, we will shoot a show. Wrapping up the Daytona race immediately after. But like I said, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys at least somewhat enjoy this. It is a little shorter show, so that is nice for some of you. But we will be back next week. Again, make sure to go give Kevin Moran's a follow on Instagram. I will link his thing here, because I'm not really sure what his Instagram handle is. I think it's Kevin Moran's 46 actually. I don't know. Like I said, I'll link it down below. Make sure to give him a follow, as we are sponsoring him here for the remainder of the East Coast rounds. Make sure to follow us on all the social media, because we have a ton of it coming up. We will be back next week wrapping up Indy. Thanks for tuning in. Later.